Yo, what is up, guys? MattWic here. We are back in NHL 25 with our Quebec Draft Kings, ready to start another season here in the 2032 season on the quest for our very first Stanley Cup. Now, I did make some big changes to the team in the last offseason. We do have some things to go over before we get into the sim. The biggest one, we have a new head coach. Finally got rid of our old coach. I know he had a great winning percentage, great regular season coach, but it just was not working out. He wasn't offensive style, so we brought in Danny Sarno here. As good of a coach as you could get, honestly. All A pluses. We had a lot of coaching budget to spend after getting rid of our old coach. He pretty much just replaced his salary, so we were able to get that taken care of. Now, like I said, the biggest thing in the difference with him is the coaching style. Our last coach was a very offensive coach, very offensive team strategy, so it's a big switch up in the team. So we'll see if this is going to be enough to put us over the hump in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which has been a big thorn in our side, coming up against some of those more offensive teams and not being able to hold serve against them in that situation. Now, if it does come up to be a problem and our top guys aren't scoring as much, we do have Vince Haley, I believe, here, who is a generalist. I did look at him. He does have a, I think it's a balanced play style. And then we also have Brian Gogol down here in the AHL. I was surprised they was able to get him to be an AHL head coach for us. I think he was already in the system, but he is an offensive coach with offensive strategy. So if need be, we can always fire our coach mid-season, or if we're struggling at some point, call up Brian here and see if he can take the reins and get us back to where we need to be. But I got a lot of faith in Danny Sarno, so let's hope for the best. The other major change to the team that happened during free agency, Anton Lundell was traded. If you notice there, Vez St. Louis, 22 years of age. It was, I believe I traded Lundell for him and maybe like a 5th or 6th round pick as well. So we were able to get a little bit back for that. For a 22-year-old, he's only signed for 1 year, so we'll see. We don't have an extension on him just yet. I want to see how he plays, but I figured swap one undrafted player out for another, especially because we made some moves to get rid of some other ones in the lineup. But he is a playmaker, a very nice player. I remember I wanted to get him in that 2028 draft class, but just was not able to trade up. Love the name, love the Quebec ties, so the fans are happy with me for now for bringing in some more Quebec players so that we hopefully don't get fired from this this franchise. So hopefully him as a playmaker with Tikhonov, our sniper, and Stu Scrimes, who is a two-way forward, but a very good goal scorer throughout his career, is able to get that done. We do have our boy Don Reitz, our converted defenseman to forward, still listed as a two-way defender, interestingly enough. Might have to change that if it becomes a problem, but he has some pretty solid stats. Big thing to note as well is the defense and the physicality on him to cover up for Adam Novotny's lack of both. Now, one thing I really like about Novotny, even though he's only a 79 overall, he's got really good awarenesses, solid enough puck skills, a little bit lacking, but a good shot, great skater, and he's got 84 faceoffs, which is exactly what I'm looking for on that third line after replacing Jonathan Berggren, who has been with us for a long, long time. And then we got Pierce Barnett over there as well, who is a very nice goal scorer in and of himself. Quebec boys on the fourth line, Rene Gaudreau and Marcel Charpentier. Round out with Kagradov, who unfortunately was a medium elite. We drafted him in the 3rd round in the very first draft, but has dropped to a top 6 medium forward. Just never really developed him. If you remember, we did give him the chance to develop. He was playing a lot of second and first line minutes earlier on in the series, but he's just been stuck at that 82 overall, so down on the 4th line he goes. Charpentier looks like a very nice player, very good stats already. Would like that face-off to be a little bit higher for him to play that 3rd line role, but it's not like we can't switch him and Novotny at some point in the season. Also, he could be a very good 2nd line replacement if St. Louis doesn't end up working out. We could always trade St. Louis at the middle of the season because we do have some good forwards down in the AHL. On defense, it looks pretty much the same, backstopped by Thomas Harley and Adam Bachfist. A couple of our drafted boys there. Quentin Bruce fills in on that 3rd line right wing or right D spot. Solid stats on him. This is going to be his first NHL experience. We do have 2 other very solid defensemen scratched at the moment. McCarron, who's been our mainstay at that position for the last 2 years, but he does not fit, unfortunately, with our new coach. Gives us a -3 on that line. Skylar Reed, who is a very high 1st round pick for us, is going to be swapping in and out with Galvin throughout the season, so we'll see who we want to keep, who we want to trade for some picks, and then we'll decide also what we want to do with Caden McCarron as well. There in goal, Carter George, 87 overall, Vezina Trophy winner last year, and Jadon Faith, 86 overall, still medium elite, 24 years of age. Carter George was up for a contract this last season, but I RFA'd him and then signed him to a 1-year qualifying offer, so we'll decide what we want to do with him. Jaden Faith is also on the last year of his deal, so we'll see what happens there, what we want to do with St. Louis, and who we want to re-sign. But boys, let's get into the sim. Apologies for taking a couple days off there. Obviously in the United States, the Thanksgiving holiday, so spent some good time with the family, relaxing, watching some football, watching the Penguins go on a 3-game win streak. How about it? Gonna finish 1 point out of the playoff spot yet again, so that we can get that 16th or 17th overall pick and continue our slog in the mushy middle. But guys, if you are enjoying the video, before we get into the sim, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of the support. Let's get into it. Let's get to mid-season and see how we're doing. All right, so here we sit, 41 games in, middle of the season, 25, 15, and 1. So a little disappointing. Our team right now, as you can see there, everything looks great. Goals for per game, goals against per game is decent, power play percentage is great, penalty kill is really killing us. So I did switch up the penalty kill lines. Let's take a look and see how the team is performing. You might notice some changes already to the squad. Our young guy Zarkov called up there, but the first line is doing first line things. Ricky Combs having a phenomenal season. Callie Paulson, 35 goals in 41 games and a +38, and Jakub Koltsov also a +38 there, 25 goals and 34 assists. So the goal production from him down just a little bit, but it's not a big deal. First line is carrying this team, to say the least. Second line, leaving a lot to be desired. Now, Tikhonov is only 20 years of age, already 87 overall, only has the 1 X-Factor ability, so hopefully he develops more soon. I do think, was he a medium elite? I cannot remember, but he's now a high top 6, so that's a little bit distressing for me. St. Louis has been a slight disappointment up to this point so far, only 12 goals, 21 assists. We'd like to see more out of him, but it is so tough, I guess, when the first line is just eating as much as they are. Stu Scrimes as well, not having the best season by his standards. Let's see what he's done in the past. Yeah, you can see 73 points last year, 43 goals, so we expect a lot more out of him. So maybe that switch up on this line, the center, is making a bigger impact than we would have expected. But like I said, he's only here for 1 year, St. Louis is, so we do always have that option to switch it up if need be. Second line, Don Reitz, not really putting up the points we'd like to see, but he has a +3, only taken 6 penalty minutes so far, so not the worst thing in the world. Victor Zarkov, who was our first-round pick last year, as you can see there, has incredible stats across the board. He was tearing it up in the AHL, 79 overall at the time. He dropped 1 because he was nervous when he came up to the NHL, but I wanted to get him in the lineup now because we needed a mix-up. It just wasn't working out with Charpentier and Novotny, so we switched things up just a bit. Pierce Barnett not having a terrible season, 10 goals, 10 assists. Little disappointing. I mean, he's on pace kind of for what he did the last 2 years, so it's what we expect out of him. Stu Scrimes is who we need more out of. Nasir Raffle is a call-up of ours, a 5th-round pick 2 years ago. This grinder, solid in every category except skating. Dude can't skate. He's the Doug Glatt of the NHL right now. He's out there stumbling around, but he's throwing big body checks. He's got a hard shot, good awarenesses, good puck skills, good defense. So, I mean, he's like kind of your prototypical 4th liner at this point right now. Just can't skate for the hell of him, which, I mean, I understand. I had a comment before that it's a big thing in hockey, but if he can do other things well, maybe he can make up for it a little bit. So I decided to give him a shot. He hasn't done terrible so far, only playing 9 minutes a game. He is one of our new penalty killers, though, so we'll see if he's able to get things done out there. Novotny, been a big bust. I mean, a 1st-round pick, we expected a lot out of him, and he just really has not panned out at all. A little bit of a drop-off there. We coming back? There we go. Okay, we're back. So Novotny there, like I said, disappointing season from him so far, but I mean, he was playing 13 minutes a game, playing on the 3rd line, playing some power play time, but just really hasn't lived up to the hype that we had for him. And then Sergei Kagradov has been a guy that I've been bouncing around the idea of maybe moving him up in the lineup a little bit, but it's tough when you got Barnett and Scrimes there above him, so we'll see what happens there. Defensively, the big thing to note, Thomas Harley is at a 98 overall, so the man, the myth, the legend continues to keep on giving it that exact franchise potential. 4 goals, 23 assists for him, +18. Halverson not doing bad. He's kind of just second fiddle up there with Harley on that first line. Skylar Reed did make his way into the lineup, and he is a plus 19. So I think that's really all you need to know about that. He's definitely going to be sticking around on this team. Bachfist, 32 assists and a plus 10, so not bad for him. Albert Henry, he's bounced in and out of the lineup. We're seeing what we want to do with him. And Quentin Bruce, I think he's found his home in the lineup as well. 4 goals, 3 assists, and a plus 11, playing 14 minutes a game. In terms of goaltending, it has been a little bit disappointing. We thought Carter George would be a little bit better. This is why I didn't give him a big contract at the end of the season last year. He is listed as an elite goalie, but he is not living up to that at all. Jaden Faith, on the other hand, has been playing very well. 259 goals against average, so maybe look at maybe turning auto goalie rotate off for a little bit and switching them up myself. But guys, we need to get it going. The Atlantic Division is stacked. So if I go over here, last place in our division, 39 points, 42, 42, 43. We're sitting there at 51. So in a playoff spot right now, bouncing around that 3 to 5 or 3 to 4 spot, I should say. But look at the Metro. So 39 points is the lowest in our division, 42 points right above that. That would almost be second place in the Metro. And then you go over here to the West, and it's the same deal. I mean, Colorado and Chicago are absolutely tearing it up this season. Colorado scares the shit out of me just because they've been a freaking powerhouse this whole series. Like I said, Cale Makar's won every James Norris in this sim so far. So these were the day one rosters that came out when NHL 25 launched. Really wish I didn't have to deal with that because it's been a pain in our ass, and it stopped us from winning, I think, 2 Stanley Cups at this point now. But it's going to be interesting to see, can the team pick it up? It's good to see the coach hasn't really killed the first line in terms of their production, but the rest of the lines need to get it going. We can't just be a one-line team. Hopefully the struggles during the regular season translate into playoff success, because we've had phenomenal regular seasons. The best record of all time one season, and we've battled up for that a couple other seasons, but we've never been able to get it done in the playoffs. Hopefully this year, struggle a little bit during the regular season, figure things out, get into the playoffs, kick some ass. Let's get to the end of the season, or at least up to the trade deadline. Here we sit right before the trade deadline, 38, 21, and 3. So decent. We have been kind of middling a little bit the last 10 games. If you see, they're 5, 3, and 2. But we are comfortably right now in a playoff spot. 9 points up on the Maple Leafs for that last wild card spot, and a lot of points up on the next team looking to get in there. So we have no worries right now. We look like we're going to be a playoff team. The big thing is going to be, are we going to be able to contend with teams like the Devils, who are tearing it up, who beat us in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and the Lightning and the Bruins, who are having phenomenal seasons right now. I did make a trade in the weeks leading up to the trade deadline here. So if we go to activity feed, there has been a lot of call-ups and send-downs so far this year, but so far the only trade made was us. Caden McCarron, he was upset he wasn't playing, so he dropped to a 77 overall because of the morale, I believe. So we traded him and a 6th-round pick to the LA Kings for a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick in this upcoming draft. So we had a plethora of defensemen that we didn't really need, and he was getting upset. Wasn't really playing his best when he got into the lineup for his limited time, so we got rid of him and moved on. In terms of the team, though, I think I figured out the second line, boys. Ricky Combs still tearing it up. Medium franchise now for him. Whoa. Is Callie Paulson still medium elite? So medium franchise for our very first draft pick. Ricky Combs there in the entire series. So we love to see that. 96 overall for him. 62 assists and 21 goals, plus 41. Callie Paulson, 50 goals in 62 games. I believe he's like 3rd or 4th right now in the league in terms of scoring. So Cale Makar is right above him, I think, with 92 points right now, which is insane. He's the only defenseman in like the top 15, and he's absolutely tearing it up. So he has not aged at all. Plus 50 for Callie Paulson there. Koltsov having himself another great season, so we love to see the first line still dominating. Sergei Tikhonov picked it up big time, and the big reason was because I shifted around the first and second power play. So I did have St. Louis, who has now started to blast off this season, on that first power play, just because I wanted to have it absolutely stacked. Turns out wasn't really what was working. Moved St. Louis down to that second power play. In there with Sergei Tikhonov. Actually moved Stu Scrimes up to the first power play, and he has started to take off as well. So the second line looks much more respectable now, and that second power play is able to kind of get some breath, get some air, and tear it up there as well themselves. Don Reitz having a respectable season, plus 14 there. Zarkov in his first NHL stint, 7 goals, 5 assists. Not upset about that at all. 78 overall for him. Pierce Barnett actually picking it up as well. He's on that second power play too, so he is looking very nice. Nasir Raffle, he's just doing Nasir Raffle things, you know. Like I said, he's not a minus, he's not killing us, and it's good to have a young guy like him up in the NHL. Grinder, third, fourth line permanently, and that low elite potential hopefully just boosts his overall like crazy. Novotny, I mean, 14 assists isn't bad. Down on the fourth line, we'd like to see that plus minus come back to even. And Kagradov, who's now getting some power play time as well, 6 goals, 16 assists for him. Thomas Harley still sitting at a 98 overall, so he hasn't dropped that. 43 assists. Ludvig Harvaldsson, almost messed his last name up there, probably kind of did. Plus 23, so he's looking nice. Skylar Reed, the absolute plus minus king, at plus 33 there, with Bogfist having 52 assists on the season. Albert Henry and Quentin Bruce rounding it out there at the bottom. Just decent seasons, nothing too crazy. I'll show you guys the power play real quick as well, just so you can kind of see what I did. So like I said, Stu Scrimes up on that top unit. Thomas Harley for now, but I might switch him around with Bachfist, because Bachfist always seems to be the guy that puts up all the points. Second power play looking a lot more respectable. Did have Novotny on there before, and I think that was killing it with him at center. So St. Louis now at center, able to drive his own line and carry these young guys along with him, so that is good to see there. Goaltending wise, Carter George still struggling a bit, getting back up in terms of the stats there for him, and Jaden Faith looking phenomenal so far. So maybe we have a bit of a goaltending controversy, and Carter George gets let go after this season, and we just go with Jaden Faith and whoever else we can find. We'll see what happens there. But guys, that's the gist of pretty much what's happening. I'm going to skip through the trade deadline. I think we're going to hold on to our boy Galvin, just because I like to have an extra defenseman. And Gaudreau, we're not going to get rid of him just because, you know, he's one of those fringe NHL guys that we want to have on the roster in case we want to sub somebody out. But things have been looking pretty good, so let's get to the end of the season, see how everything finishes, see if we get any awards, and see if we make the playoffs. Solid end of the season for our Draft King boys, finishing third in the division with 109 points. The Atlantic Division is absolutely stacked right now, so it's going to be tough to see if we can get through there. We get the Lightning in the first round. We're the away team for the first time in a while, but look at the difference between the Atlantic and the Metro there. Just absolutely insane. The West, Colorado's going to be a problem yet again. Cale Makar, I think he had like 120 some points. Callie Powson, you'll see down there at the bottom, 69 goals, 121 points. Not good enough for the Art Ross, not good enough for the Maurice Richard, unfortunately. Let's take a look at the lines, then we'll take a look at the league leaders, just so you guys can see how insane some of that stuff is looking. Ricky Combs, very solid season, 29 goals, 75 assists, plus 49. For first line's just unreal. Callie Powson, you already saw him, 69 goals, 52 assists. We love to see it. And Jakub Koltsov, a little bit of a down year in terms of goals. He tore it up a bunch last year, but kind of came back to form this year. So we'll see. Maybe the influence of having a defensive head coach kind of trailed him down just a little bit, but I'm very happy with that. Tikhonov, a solid season, almost 30-30. St. Louis really, like I said, picked it up after that mid-season. 20 goals, 52 assists for him, which is absolutely unreal. I think we'll be keeping him around. We'll see, though. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you want to keep him around or if we want to move on and maybe go to one of our younger guys to see what they can get done. Stu Scrimes picked it up very nicely. 25 goals, 39 assists. Don Reitz, our defenseman playing forward, not too shabby there. 13 goals, 17 assists. Victor Zarkov, Jesus. 49 games played, 11 goals, 8 assists, and a +8. So I will take that from the rookie. A solid season for him in year one. Pierce Barnett, 22 goals on that third line. Nazir Raffle, like I said, just doing Nazir Raffle things down there on that fourth line. Can't fault him for that. Marcel Charpentier made his way back into the lineup, filling in for Novotny just because he grew to that 81 overall. Like I said, Novotny wasn't really doing a whole lot this season. I wanted to go with somebody younger, so Charpentier it is, and he is back in the lineup. And Kagradov down there on the fourth line playing second power play, 25 assists for him. You love to see it. Thomas Harley, 10 goals, 62 assists. You might think that's a phenomenal season for a defenseman. Wait until you see what Cale Makar did this year. Halvardson, 20 plus 29 for him. Skylar Reed, the plus-minus god, plus 37. He is going to be a mainstay in this roster. Bachfist, 63 assists. We love to see that. And then the third pairing, just doing third pairing things down there. Jaden Faith, what did Carter? No, I thought he grew to an 88. Jaden Faith, not a bad season for him. Solid stats, 914 save percentage, 256 goals against and 3 shutouts. Carter George kind of brought it back a little bit. Tough start of the season for him, but we'll see what he can get done in the playoffs. Going to be interesting to see what he can do there. And then in terms of the scratched guys, you see Novotny, Gaudreau, and Galvin there. Like I said, Novotny just really wasn't impressing me. 25 years of age, he's almost done growing, so I figured get somebody else younger in there and probably move on from him at the draft, see what we can get, maybe a 6th, 5th, or something round pick. Gaudreau, I mean, didn't really impress me either, but he's only 22 years of age, so we'll stick on with him. And Galvin pretty much just played his way out of the lineup because of how good Reed ended up doing. Let's take a look now, guys, at those top league leaders. Absolute insanity here on this list. Like I said, Cale Makar, 34 years of age, 22 goals, 104 assists. I hate this guy, man. 97 overall, pretty much all 99s all across the board. Like I said, look at his award page. It is unreal. 9 James Norrises, 3 Conn Smythes, and 5 Stanley Cups. 2 Lady Bings to toss on top of that as well. And you just see Callie Powelson down there towards the bottom of the list here. It is insane that he has a season like that and still struggles. He should win the Hart and the Lindsay again, though, because he did have all these points and he was the plus 61. So we will see. He is the, what, 4-time winner of that award? 3-time winner. So we will see. We will see. It is going to be interesting to see if we are able to add some more hardware to that. Unfortunately, another Maurice Richard is not in our pocket because Bedard and Hughes decided to tear it up. So he came close yet again, but no cigar. Nathan McKinnon, hopefully this bastard retires soon as well. He is 37 years of age, 86 overall, bottom 6 forward. I think it's the last year of his deal. Yes, it is the last year of his deal. So either he's going to sign a cheap deal with Colorado and give them more cap space, like a Sidney Crosby, or he's just going to retire or maybe become a free agent. If he becomes a free agent, I will sign his ass. I don't care because I want that first Stanley Cup so bad, although he'd probably drop to like an 82 overall at that time. But look at his award page. 5 Hart trophies, 5 Stanley Cups, 5 Ted Lindsays, 4 Art Rosses, 2 Maurice Richards, Lady Bing, Calder, Conn Smythe. Instant Hall of Famer. You got to talk about him as one of the greatest players to ever do it. But guys, that is going to be the end of this video. Let me know if you think we have a chance come playoff time. The league is stacked. I feel like it's just like we are the living in the New England Patriots dynasty in terms of the NFL to the NHL, with this Colorado Avalanche team being so dominant for so many years. We probably already would have had 2 Stanley Cups if not for them. But like I said, that's the end of this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. That's the end of this one. Peace.